Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So I had a whole other video I was going to upload today, and I'll probably go ahead and still upload that since it's completed, and I'll just do that later on in the day. But I wanted to touch base on a video Chilli put out last night, and it's a serious video. Um, it's a sad situation. You know, this young guy in Colorado Springs was pulled over, and because he didn't comply and actually looked like he was going to try and get away, an altercation was created. And it is very unfortunate, and it's very sad, and it broke my heart. The only reason I'm doing anything on it is because Chilli made a video on it, and of course, he creates misinformation, and he doesn't state the truth at all. It's all based on his feelings and his opinions. I downloaded and watched both body cam videos. I watched them in regular speed and in slow speed so that I can see everything that happened, and I wanted to pick apart and analyze every bit of these body cam videos. And I can tell you, unfortunately, this is the result of not cooperating or complying and then trying to get away from police. If you are innocent and you have done nothing wrong, literally nothing wrong, why would you fight the police? Why would you try to escape? The man was pulled over because he had no license plate and he was going 15 miles an hour in a 45. Going that slow in a 45 or any speed limit, if you're going that slow, they're going to pull you over for suspicion of intoxication, because nobody drives 15 miles an hour in a 45 just because, they feel like driving that slow, especially that late at night. It's just sad, and I'm trying to be as careful as I can with this because it is a delicate situation, and I want to make sure the facts get put out, and I want to make sure that I produce those facts properly, not the way Chilli does it. I would say enjoy the video, but because of the situation and how heartbreaking it is, I don't know how anybody could enjoy this whole topic. So with that, I will just get on with the video.
Gonna ask you to just not reach for anything and step on out of the vehicle, okay?
What I'm coming out of the vehicle for?
We'll talk about that, okay? So just step on out. Gonna ask you to just not reach for anything and step on out of the vehicle, okay?
What I'm coming out of the vehicle for?
We'll talk about that, okay? So just step on out for DUI. Alright, so stand up, turn around, hands behind your back.
Hop out of the car, man.
Hands behind my back.
Yes, you're going to be detained in handcuffs.
Oh, no, I'm not. Hands behind my back.
Yes, you're.
Okay, so right off the bat, what Chilli actually means by saying I can't show you the reality of how police treat us, basically all it is he's not willing to show you what doesn't fit his narrative. You'll see the cuts that he makes in the video because he doesn't want to air the full conversations between the cop and the driver, because he's trying to minimize what really happened so that you will perceive the police officers as being unreasonable and bullies, while the driver was completely innocent and had done no wrong at all. Let's remember, he was pulled over for not having a license plate and for driving 15 miles an hour in a 45 mile per hour zone. Keep that in mind. He also writes at the bottom, cops beat him up for no reason. cops did not just decide, hey, let's beat this guy up for no reason. And there's a reason. And I will get to that when we get to that. He's also not being arrested. He's being asked to come out of the car to be detained so that they can evaluate the situation and evaluate the driver to see if he truly is impaired or not. And then Chilli tries to convince, as always, that handcuffs are torture cuffs, but we all know that that's just because he's a freaking man-child and he has to have something to complain and whine about.
Hands behind my back.
Yes, you're going to be detained in handcuffs.
Oh, no, I'm not.
You're about to stand up. You're about to stand up. You're about to stand up. Victor 9-1 fighting. Stop fighting, bro. Quit fighting. He's assaulting me. I'm not assaulting you, bro. He's assaulting me. I'm not assaulting you, bro. He's assaulting me. I'm not assaulting you, bro. Get out of the car. I got it. Stop fighting me, bro. Get out. Ow! Not blue. All right. What the f*** did I do, bro? I'm trying, but my brother's blue, my brother's, oh my blood, my brother's blue, my brother's, oh my brother's blue.
Okay, so everything that I touch base on is going to be what Chilli has written. And, yes, there was a cop on the passenger side of the car. He was speaking with the passenger of the vehicle. They had detained him. They detained him quietly and quickly. Like, the guy didn't put up a stink. He didn't try and fight. He got out. He laid on the ground, you know. So that was why there was a cop on the passenger side. There was a reason for the police to fight the driver when he would not get out of his car. None of the fighting or the hitting began until the driver tried to get back into his vehicle from when he had his legs and his feet outside of the vehicle. It looked like he was going to possibly try and flee. We don't know. The police didn't take that chance, which was a good thing. You know, they tried to remove him from the vehicle. At that point, the driver then started kicking the police officer in the chest. They managed to get him partially back out of the vehicle when he dove back into the driver's seat, and you can clearly see for a split second where the driver's hand tried reaching for something in, and I can't say it was in the middle console passenger seat or if he was just reaching for something, but there was a knife sitting in the middle console in the cup holder. Not only did police voice that at the very, very beginning, as soon as they had pulled him over, but when I slowed down the footage, when he shined his flashlight into the car, you can see a part of the knife sticking up out of the cup holder. So, yes, there was a knife there. They also wouldn't keep saying that there was a knife if there was no knife because, well, people are going to see that. The driver is continuously hitting the cops as they hit him. They're trying to get him out of the car. This wasn't one-sided where the police were the only ones hitting and they instigated the whole thing. The driver was resisting and he was fighting the police. As the driver is saying, "I'm not assaulting you," he is hitting the police and kicking the police. So you could say, "I'm not assaulting you," while you're assaulting the people. It doesn't mean you're not assaulting them. And then, of course, Chilli doesn't show any of this. So nobody sees this. They're just supposed to go on Chilli's word for it, you know. The police never intended on charging this guy with a DUI. They were going to assess him for impairment, but their intention wasn't to just outright arrest him for a DUI. False DUI charges are only in Chilli's opinion, as he always drives while being under the influence anyways. that's probably why he has such a strong opinion against that. But, Chilli is cutting and repeating parts of the fight to make it sound like the fight went on longer than it actually did. And I have noticed his cuts, and I noticed, where he put, and they continue the beating, he's replaying the same sounds of the fight at this point to make it sound like it was continually going on and on and on and on. It didn't. Police were able to get him out of the car at a certain point. When they did get him out of the car, they never crushed the man. Okay. That whole part of it where you're hearing them say, put your hands behind your back, and he's yelling, and it sounds, they're not even fighting at this point. Like, nobody's hitting anybody. The police are just literally trying to get this man's arms behind his back so they can detain him. And the entire time, he's trying to keep his arms under his chest. He even goes into the fetal position at one point so that they can't turn him over on his stomach to pull his arms behind him. He is completely resisting at this point. As he's resisting on the ground, though, they're not hitting him. They're trying to get him to do what they're asking him to do so they can de-escalate the entire situation. And it's just all, this would have never escalated if the driver had just complied. If he wasn't impaired, then the cops would have found that out. He probably would have been cited for not having a license plate, and he would have gone on his way. But he knows why he's being, why this is going on. He did try to get away from police, at that time. So, I don't know. They didn't beat him up for no reason. And that's just what's really, I don't get why Chilli keeps putting these false narratives in there, but other than to fit his own opinion. I will put the link to the full video in my description for anybody who wants to see the full video. I will not put the full video up because I don't know about how that's going to work with TOS with YouTube, but I will put the link to the website that has the full video.
Yeah. You go. No, you're done. You're done. You're all right.
I had that left arm. It's like,
Yeah.
don't fucking do it, dude.
Okay. During the attack, an officer says to another, "He's assaulting me," while the video shows the opposite. Remember, we had an officer tell us at Indisputable they will say things like that in order to create a case for their own defense in the midst of being violent. So we know the game. Gaston was still handcuffed to his hospital bed, his body covered in bruises, scrapes, lacerations.
It's just kind of the way we do things. If you want to talk to me, I'll want to talk to you. Or you want to answer some questions and talk to me about what happened? Well, hold on. Before you start, I got to read something to you. Or do you want to talk to me about what happened?
Well, I really need to get in touch with my lawyer.
Okay. Well, if you want your lawyer, then I won't talk to you about what happened.
What's the purpose of you talking to me for, sir?
So that was Chilli's video. It was, like I said, I think 4.5 minutes long, and then 7.5 minutes of just watching his logo bounce around the screen, which is ridiculous, but that is Chilli. He has to make sure it's a certain length so he can get paid for it. But anyways, he's claiming that police need to be trained better. Their training is what they're trained to do. What they did is what they're trained to do. They don't know, and we don't know, if Dalvin was going to try and flee. He did jump back in his car and he tried to shut the door. What they did by detaining him was possibly stopping a high-speed chase from happening, which in turn could have hurt many people on the road, including the passenger, and the driver could have been hurt even more had they crashed. Police officers could have been injured in the process. So yes, detainment had to happen, and it had to happen fast. Do I think there was excessive force by police officers? No. I do think hitting him in the face the way they did, or as much as they did, was excessive. I think the face could have been avoided as much as possible. However, he did try to grab something. It's clear in the video that I watched that when he dove back into his car the second time, he was reaching for something. Now, we don't know if he was trying to go for the knife. The police don't know if he was trying to go for the knife, unless, they saw his hand actually going for the knife. I didn't see it because it was so fast. You have to remember, adrenaline was high. So as soon as he did that and they went back in and grabbed him, he did continue to kick and hit. At one point, you can hear an officer say, "Oh my God, he bit me. He bit me." So Dalvin bit the police officer. He's not innocent. He did hit. He kicked. He allegedly bit. I didn't see that, but I heard the police officer say it. This was not what Chilli says, a group of bad men attacking an innocent person. That is not at all what this was. Chilli also calls them cowards. Why? Because they were doing their jobs? Yet, Chilli looks at this video, and what he sees is a black male getting in a fight with police officers. So immediately in his mind, that's twisted to a black man being attacked by police officers for no reason. And immediately he thinks money. He sees money signs in his head. Because just like in when he's done it before, he's called people up, victims up, and tried to be like, "Hi, I saw this. I want to help you." Yeah, no. He's going to probably reach out to this Dalvin, and he's going to probably try and offer him his fake bullshit legal advice. And the only reason he cares about this is because he's hoping he can benefit off of what happened to this guy. And that's it. And it also helps his whole rah-rah crusade against the police bullshit that he does, because he even edited and created his video to seem like it was different from the actual videos that were out. Yeah, he is handcuffed to the bed for a reason. Even though you're in the hospital, you're still going to be handcuffed. It's for your safety. It's for everyone else's safety. And it is also for detainment purposes. There are some outlets that are saying that Dalvin is in critical condition. Okay, he's not in critical condition. We can clearly see he's sitting up, he's talking, he's moving. He's not in critical condition. At any time, if he wasn't handcuffed, if nurses and doctors were not around and the police were not paying attention as they're standing there, he could easily get up and walk away or whatever. That there's a reason they handcuffed you. You've already caused an altercation with the police to the point where you're in the hospital. They're not going to take the chances of that again. So yes, you are handcuffed. And no, handcuffs are not torture. But we all know that. So there's Chilli has to put in there, "Oh, look, there's cameras now everywhere." There's footage even prior to the hospital footage. So I don't know what he's talking about. They did not edit any of the body cam footage. It is there in its entirety from the moment the police officer got behind them to the time that he turned on his lights and pulled them over, all the way up until after Dalvin was even taken by ambulance to the hospital. So none of these body cam footages are edited or altered, unlike Chilli's video. And one last thing. do you notice that Chilli is actually using fair use? I had to giggle at that because he did use somebody else's content to create his video. So, he'll sue anybody that uses his content to make a video, but it's fair game for him. He can do it. It's okay. That just tickled me. I was like, oh, yeah, because I noticed that at the very end when you heard the person in the original content speaking to the camera. And I was like, wait, that's not Chilli's voice. Oh, my goodness. He's using somebody else's content. So I thought that was funny. But anyways, I don't want to say I hope you enjoyed the video. It's a very sad and unfortunate event that happened. It breaks my heart. I don't want to see anybody get hurt, but there's always consequences to your actions. And unfortunately, his actions, the consequences were pretty bad. Again, I'm not going to sit here and say that the police didn't use excessive force on his face, at least. I do think that they could have avoided his face if at all possible. There's just too much damage to his face. And I will admit that. But it's just a sad thing all around. It breaks my heart to see it. But I'm not going to let Chilli sit here and twist the story and throw out the facts. And that's the whole reason why I did this. With that, I will see you in my next video. Stay safe. Take care. Love ya.